All right, we're live. Okay. So, quick note to everyone. Let's just talk on Discord because it's going to be faster. Right? It's going to be faster. How's the audio check? Late? Yep, it is late. Just someone put a Discord link if anyone wants to join the chat, I guess. I don't think they can. I'll put the Discord link, which keeps changing for some reason. I'm such a boomer for these things. Invite people. Copy this. Audio sounds good. Shaza, what's up? What's up? I'll need a thumbnail for this, Shaza. Just saying. Also, Shaza, join my Discord, man. You'll know what's up. First time live class? Okay, no problem, no problem, no problem. So the agenda for the class is we shall talk about some. Let's try something different. I want to try something different. I want to try not a black background. I want to try this gray one. What do you guys think? Probably isn't the best one. Let's go with this. I got it. Okay. All right. Oh, you're already a mod. Sheza, you're a mod. Yeah. 14p though? It's fine on my end. Oh yeah, it's terrible. Maybe wait for it to buffer. I think maybe your setting is a bit off. I don't know. Wow. Looking at my video quality. If I go 720p. Ooh. Yeah, it looks fine. I think there will be a delay. So, what do you think of this gray background? ऐसा लग रहा है you are from England. Why? Because I'm wearing a collared shirt in this heat. Abdul, hello. Okay. So the agenda is we're going to talk about something. What are we going to talk about? Let us say, what is a neutralization reaction? A neutralization reaction is when an acid reacts with a base to form salt and water. That's a neutralization reaction. Agreed? Simple, nothing. No sir. Accent. Mera accent. Ki bolta tu? You say my accent is telling you I'm from England. I'm kind of pretentious. Okay, why do I have this and this? It's too much. I don't need this. Okay. Right? Okay. Everyone with me? Okay, so the idea is, what is this equation telling you? If you have, let's say, 1 mole of hydrochloric acid, let's get on Discord, it'll be faster to respond. You can just, have fun in the chat, on YouTube chat, but I prefer people on Discord just answer my questions. I'm asking if I have 1 mole of, actually not the acid, let's go with 1 mole of base, right? I have 1 mole of base. My question is, how much acid will I need to neutralize this base? I have my first dislike. Yeah, I have my enemies. Assy, I don't know. I have my fair share of enemies. Okay. What do you guys think? Oh yeah, I also realized my video is going to be a bit lagging behind. Probably should do a zoom thing next time. It'll be faster. But YouTube is YouTube. What do you guys think? Will I require, how much acid will I require? Is the answer 1 mole as well? How do I know this? Because the ratio between my acid and my sodium hydroxide, my base, is 1 to 1, right? My Discord has a general someone's talking. We are live. Yeah, I always know. I did notice that. Yeah, I did notice. I just go, we are live. That's what I say. Okay. Anyway, acha. So we know this, right? Like straightforward, nothing special. Hello, Mustafa. Hello, guys. ठीक है. Now here's my question. ठीक है. Here's another part B of the question. Let's say I have a flask. Right, I have a flask. You know, I draw like these weird things, but like they end up looking not too bad. It's like, okay, I have my flask over here and this has HCl in it, right? And let's say I'll pour in sodium hydroxide into it. Sodium hydroxide. Let's actually get some color for that. I'm pouring sodium hydroxide in there, NaOH. Now, complete neutralization is seen, meaning acid and base completely disappeared if I add in 1 mole worth of sodium hydroxide. If I add that much sodium hydroxide into the flask, right, it'll completely neutralize. Now, if it's completely neutralizing, how much moles of acid is here? How many moles? What do you guys think? Let's get on Discord. I think it'll be faster. I don't know. So, oh no, actually, it's going to be the same. It doesn't matter. I'll wait for you guys answering. Yeah, a little bit of theory. If you understand this, you don't have to work on anything. Yeah, what do you guys think? What do you guys think? What is the amount of moles of hydrochloric acid that 1 mole of sodium hydroxide neutralized completely? सर पूरी शक्ल दिखाएं, पूरी शक्ल तो आ रही है और क्या देख रहे हो तुम? I haven't even started my explanation, Aram. One mole, right? Aram says 1 mole. Take it. Aram's just told me he's going to O2. So yeah, he's saying it's 1 mole, and that makes perfect sense. Take it. Now let's make this complicated. Let's say I do the same thing, but I don't tell you I put in 1 mole. Let's say I tell you I put in 25 centimeter cube of 1 mole per decimeter cube of sodium hydroxide. Okay. And let's say the volume over here is also 25 centimeter cube of the acid used. What is the concentration of this acid? Key concentration is acid key. Adhika is here. Woo! Miss Antika, how are you? Excitement. People are saying 1. Now the idea is, because you're probably thinking, you should be thinking, okay, you have the moles over here. They require, for every 1 mole of hydrochloric acid, you require 1 mole of sodium hydroxide. So it's equal, right? And if over here, if the volume used is equal, and if I make the concentrations equal, of course, both will have the same moles. So, because we've done this question 2 times already before coming to this question, obviously the concentration should more or less be the same. So I'm good as well, Atika. Yeah, so you're figuring it out, okay. We gotta compare the moles. That's what's important, right? And that's what you did, and you realized, like, okay, in this particular case, the concentration need to be equal for the moles to be equal. So you, rather than doing the calculation, you just said da-di-da-di-da-di-da-di-da, done and dusted. I am on Discord, but I think it's pretty dead right now. No one's talking, everyone chooses to. But how would you do this question if you had to do the math? Now notice, all our assumption is based on the fact that ye baat. Okay, I added sodium hydroxide, a certain moles. I don't know the moles directly, right? I don't know how many moles I added of sodium hydroxide into this flask. But I know whatever that amount is, it neutralized the acid. And because they're reacting in the ratio 1 to 1, they should be equal. So whatever moles of this base is, which I can easily figure out, that will also be equal to the moles of the acid over here. And once I know the moles and I already have the volume, I can easily figure out the concentration by just applying the concentration formula. So that's what I'll do. So I'll figure out these moles first, figure out the moles, match moles, match them, matches, okay, just match, and 3. Then find the concentration out. Let's do those steps on the right hand side. Right? Step 1, finding out the moles of sodium hydroxide. So moles is going to be concentration times volume. Now I've got to be specific that my centimeter cube should be actually be in decimeter cube, right? So 1 mole per decimeter cube is the concentration, volume is 0.025. Okay. And because that's centimeter cube in decimeter cube, right? And I figure out the moles are actually 0.025 moles. That's the amount of moles of sodium hydroxide used. That's what I calculated. Step 2. Well, you don't normally do this, but you realize moles of sodium hydroxide are actually equal to the moles of HCl. So moles of HCl should be equal to 0.025 moles. Third, I shall change my color first. Third, what you do is you want to figure out the concentration now that you know the moles and you already knew the volume. So you say moles per volume, moles are 0.025. Volume of the acid is, what is it? Also 0.025. And the concentration comes out to be 1 mole per decimeter cube. And that was the answer you guys gave on way earlier. Got it? Did you guys got it? Why do I say this? I don't know. Right? Easy? Now this is all of titration, but you'll just get different values. The only issue is going to be that the volume will not match, so it's not as easy to calculate just by looking at it. So it's not as magical or straightforward. It gets a little tough, but you have to kind of work it out. But otherwise the logic is the same. Shall we do a question? Are you guys ready to do a real question? Easy peasy. Let's stick with hydrochloric acid. Let me just copy, I guess all of this. I do kind of like this stuff. Okay, so you had 25 centimeter cube of hydrochloric acid and you want to figure out its concentration, right? And you pick up from the lab, you found out, you picked up some sample of sodium hydroxide. Turns out it was exactly 0.1 mole per decimeter cube. You ended up using 40.2 centimeter cube of this. Because what you do is, essentially, you pick up the sodium hydroxide, you have the acid, and you pour it until neutralization has completely taken place. I was thinking Harry Potter. Right? So anyway, sodium hydroxide, you keep pouring it until like, oh, this is neutralized, magic, all right. Right? Color changed, whatever. And once that does it, so you realize, okay, I stopped exactly when neutralization took place, and the amount of sodium hydroxide I used was 40.2, right? And the concentration of that was, 0.1. So I can easily figure out the total molecules or the total amount of sodium hydroxide that entered. Again, I say molecules because it's easy to imagine, but they're not really molecules, are they? It's an ionic compound dissolved in water, so it's ions to say, ठीक है. But can we figure this out? I'll give you guys a 2-minute thing while I sip my water from my mug. Very easy calculation, straightforward. Essentially what we did last time. Same question. I just changed the value of concentration by 1/10 and a very random volume value, almost twice. Let's figure it out. Let us figure it out. Let us figure it out. When I say let us, I actually am trying to say late night chess session. I was so boring. I've started hating chess because I'm not good at it. I'm okay at it, it's just too much work. A Dragon Ball character says 0. How long is this session? I mean, like until people get it, we'll do 2 or 3 more questions. Then maybe an MCQ, I think. Yeah, I think titration should be very easy to most people. It's very logical. People are getting answers. Let's do this real quick. Actually, why did I remove that? Let us figure it out. Okay, let's get some fancier colors. So last time what I did was step 1, find out the moles actually you threw into the flask, right? How much moles of sodium hydroxide did you actually throw in? The moles were concentration times volume. Concentration of the base is 0.1. The volume used is 0.0402, and that'll turn into 0.00402 moles. I'm not gonna do step 2, which says moles of NaOH are equal to moles of HCl. I think that's a little too obvious, but you know what I mean, right? Like now I'm saying, okay, in dono ke moles barabar hone chahiye ek dusre ke. So I'll use that in my calculation, directly jumping to step 3. Concentration of HCl is going to be moles over volume. The moles are 0.00402 divided by the volume of HCl, 0.025. 0.1608 moles per decimeter cube. Right? So taking a look, that's the concentration of the hydrochloric acid. Does this make sense to you guys that the concentration of this acid is actually more than the concentration of sodium hydroxide? It does make sense because you needed more of that acid to fight, completely neutralize this acid. So this was all obviously stronger, so it makes sense it's stronger. Logically, it's making sense. And it's not twice as strong because you didn't need twice the volume, it's somewhere close, so yeah. Yes? Now you could have like a very fancy, simple, this could be like a lot of people teach it as like, oh, like here's a formula for it or this or that or whatever. I mean, just look at it. It's a little math intensive that you have to kind of do like, have 3 steps in your mind rather than like, what's 2 plus 2? 4. So it's like, having multiple things in mind. They're asking, like, hey, this is the amount of sodium hydroxide used. Can you figure out, using some logic, how much hydrochloric acid was present? That's the goal. And it just turns into a little math intensive thing. But most of this writing is just to organize my thoughts and exactly figure out what's going on, right? Why will moles be the same? Because the ratio between hydrochloric acid reacting with sodium hydroxide is 1:1. So for every 1 molecule of sodium hydroxide, you need 1 molecule of HCl. तो यहाँ पे जितने भी moles होंगे आप अंदर डाल रहे हैं, अगर वो neutralization complete हो गई, neutralization is there's no acid left, there's no base left. It's completely neutral, right? So that means the base and this is completely neutralized. So ये जितने आपने डाले थे, which you can figure out from these values, which I did over here, that should be the moles of hydrochloric acid. And because they're equal, you can find out the concentration of the acid. Clarity, 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 clarity. Athika, still there? Do you get it? Were you here in our last class? I think we were doing the exact same thing. Everyone gets it? This is essentially titration. Now, you see titration with like some fancy equipments. How do you see neutralization taking place? Because मैंने तो बोल दिया बड़े मजे से neutralization हो गई. But how would you see it? Well, you can't see it easily because most bases and acids, if not all of them, are colorless. So what you do is throw in a special chemical that will change its color from when it's an acid, then when it's in a base. Why am I being wished a happy birthday? Oh well. Okay, happy birthday to me. I do like my presents. That special chemical is called an indicator, like methyl orange or phenolphthalein. It'll change. So this solution is acidic. As soon as you drop sodium hydroxide into it, it'll become less and less acidic because it's being driven off by the sodium hydroxide. It's being neutralized. Once you add moles completely equal to it, it'll turn completely neutral. And that indicator will change its color. Indicator will change its color because it's not an acidic solution anymore. It's in a neutral solution. Or maybe you just went to slightly 1 drop higher, slightly like a micro drop higher. You'll realize it is ever so slightly alkaline. And that indicator will change its color to an alkaline. And once you see that color change, you're like, whoa. It just crossed the neutralization area. So we're very close to neutralization. So let's use these values to get a very good approximation of the concentrations. I'll give you a cake. Pehla gift lao, yeah, exactly, man. Pehla gift. Pehla gift. Okay. Does this make sense? Now you use a burette over here. I told you why you use an indicator. You use a burette on top. Why do you do it? A burette is like literally a sensitive device with literally a tap on it. So you can control how much, sodium hydroxide, or you could actually reverse it. You can have the acid on top and sodium hydroxide at the bottom, and you can figure out, how much sodium hydroxide is being added. And that's essentially it. And you do it multiple times, this and that, to get better values, but this is essentially it. So let's do that question I was sent by Aisha sent it, no? It was on chemistry. Shem viewed as the acid dropwise. Yeah, so yeah, you can control the amount of acid being thrown. So here's a question. So in a volumetric experiment, 25 of 0.1 mole of sodium hydroxide. So it's the same. It's a very similar question. It's not the same, so it's a new equation. Let's write it down. It's between sodium hydroxide and sulfuric acid. The equation is given to you in the question. I want to sing that, Aisha, I want to sing that song, hum that Luke's theme, when he's staring off, you know, the slow one? I can't remember it. Yeah, something like that. Okay. Yeah, that's the equation. And they're saying they used, the amount of sodium hydroxide used was the concentration used was 0.1 mole per decimeter cube. How quaint. I don't know what that means. I'm just being pretentious. Quaint. What does quaint mean? I forgot. I knew what it was. You know, don't use it so you forget. Quaint. I think interesting or curious or 25 centimeter cube. Right? I'm not even going to draw the beaker this time. Let's see if we can do it. It's not HCl this time. It's sulfuric acid. And its concentration is something we need to figure out. And the volume you titrated it with is 20 centimeter cube. What are you guys talking about? Let's try this question out. All right, guys, can we keep the banter to a minimum? Some people want to study, let them focus. Let's end it soon. I think we've more or less done it. Okay, quick chem short here for titrations. Concentration kharab ho jayegi. Very funny. Very punny. Nice one. Saab. Right? Very punny. Yeah. I don't know if that was intentional or not. Okay. So essentially, we'll do the same thing. Bhai sodium hydroxide andar dala hai humne iske. So step one was, okay, how many moles of sodium like they're indirectly telling you how much. They could have told you the moles, but they don't want to, right? So how much did you use? You used concentration times the volume. The concentration is 0.1 times the volume, which is 0.025. I hate how I wrote 2 and 5. Right? And that's going to come out to 0.0025 moles. And this is equal to, not really equal to the concentration. Look how they're reacting. Sodium hydroxide, for every 2 sodium hydroxide, you need 1 sulfuric acid molecule. There's a reason they give you the equation, right? 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 Yeah, yeah, yeah. ठीक है. So how much, if I have 0.0025 over here, I'll need 0.00125 over here of sulfuric acid. So that's the moles I'll use. That's the moles I just use. You know, late night chemistry makes you forget speech. Right? So I hope you understand why I'm changing the moles right now. It's pretty obvious. I'm changing the moles because they're not reacting in a 1-to-1 ratio. I didn't need to change it last time. Now I'm changing it because if this amount of sodium hydroxide completely destroyed sulfuric acid, they were probably half in concentration, right? So the concentration of sulfuric acid is going to be moles per volume, and the moles are 0.00125, and the volume is 0.02, right? That's 20 in 0.00125 divided by 0.02. Answer comes out to 0.0625 mole per decimeter cube. Yeah. Now there was a formula that Aisha wants to see why that formula is working, and I think that formula is slightly incorrect. So this is the formula. It says acid to alkali. I don't know, like I'm a guy who don't get into formulas at all, you know. So it's a C1V1 divided by N1. It's not the moles wala N. It's just a number N, right? C2V2, and I completely understand what this formula is trying to do. This is a titration equation. Have I skipped a step? No, I just did it. Yahan pe, no? Like, it was kind of obvious. This is 0.0025, so this has to be 0.00125, half of what this is. So I just did it, or in my head. I assumed most people followed. I didn't want to do it because I'm lazy. Discord पे जाके message करो sir को for. Okay, so Aisha wants to know why this equation is working. So essentially, aren't we doing, let's say, moles of acid should equal moles of the base. That's the formula, right? That's what we're doing. But depending on what ratios they're reacting, right? So I think they're, but let's assume it's straight 1-on-1, right? So what is moles actually equal to? It's actually, moles will be equal to the concentration of the acid times the volume of the acid, which will be equal to the concentration of the base times the volume of the base, right? And the ends at the bottom are catering to these things, right? If they're actually reacting. Right now, both the ends are equal to 1, so they're equal. So there's no ratio between them, right? So if they're like, I don't know how it works, the n, obviously, it's kind of obvious how it works, but which n goes where, never saw the formula, don't really, want to entertain this formula at all because I'm strictly against it. But if you put the formula over here, this n is just literally this n and this n. And we can do 1 or 2 questions and figure out which n is it really. But completely ignore, any of my students who've never seen, or if anyone who hasn't seen this before, I was just explaining it. I would strongly recommend don't even get into this. Unless you find it useful, then I guess whatever works for you, right? I personally would not, because I don't like using formulas, because I just like understanding things, how they work, and I'll just do my own math. because then you only need to get in good in one thing. That's just math. If you're good in math, you can just, then you learn only to apply rather than learning different formulas for it. And that's what we're doing here. N is referring to, one more time, these ratio numbers, this N. Over here, what I've written, this N is the moles wala N because it has the longer dandi. Right? Understanding? You guys get it? Spam, salute, if you guys get it. I'll show you how to do the salute. Let's see if people know that. Salute if you get it. Yeah. You guys want to do more question or you guys got it? Barry Dillon joined my Discord. Righty, right? I can't fix the delay, that's intentional. This is student. Dude, who are you? This is student, that beard. Everyone gets it? Any questions? Do you guys want to do one or two more questions? Let's not. But if you guys want to do a question, let's do a question. But let's not. Let's just not do a question. It's midnight. But I'll wait. Salute an OG thing. The salute is an OG thing, original thing. It's pretty old. This used to be there when, Metal Gear 5 came out. Phantom Pain, the "Why are we still here?" meme one. And, they would say something or something and people would be in the comments just going this emoticon. I just loved it. Great time, man. Great time. That game was awesome. Or like the cult behind that game was awesome. The game was pretty good as well. Yeah. Okay, shall we? I think everyone's clear. End, spam end if you want me to end it. If you have a question, throw it on Discord. Throw it on Discord if you want to ask a question. People clear, people clear. Okay, so let's just end it. But if you have a question later, we'll just, just to suffer. Let's play that for 1 minute. Nah, actually, it's going to sound horrible because I have speakers. I'll get ready. ठीक है. Thank you for watching and bye-bye, guys. If you have questions, get on the Discord and I can answer it or something, that's the fastest way to reach me. Chalo, bye-bye, guys. Take care. Have fun. And bye-bye.